Cub fans, listen, shocking news dropped this past week about the Chicago Cubs center fielder PCA. Well, maybe shocking to the rest of the world, but not shocking to us because it's what we've seen all season long. I'm going to break all that down what MLB.com listed PCA as, of course, and we're going to talk about his potential and what his 2026 season could look like. We're going to talk about all of this and more right after this. Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of Chicago Cubs Central, your number one spot for all things Chicago Cubs. Hey, listen, I'm your host, Mike Jones. Thanks so much for tuning in to this episode, y'all. Listen, you guys are what make these episodes possible. We are on our way to 3,000 subscribers here on Chicago Cubs Central, and I cannot do it without you. If you are tuning into this, if you like this content, please hit that subscribe button. And also, I don't want to just give a shout out to the YouTube side. I want to give a shout out to the Spotify side, the Apple Podcast side. Also, those of you over there, shout out to each and every last one of you that are tuning in, that are listening to the content, that are watching the content. Thank you. Thank you so much. It means the world to me that you guys take time out of your busy schedules and you enjoy Chicago Cubs Central podcast, guys. I work my ass off for you. Sacrifice a lot to do these podcasts because I love the Chicago Cubs and I love giving this great content to each and every last one of you. And you have my word, my promise, my bond that I will continue to do so. But listen, we're on our way to 3,000 subscribers and I need your help to get there. And once we get there will be a reward, guys. What's the reward? Well, I'm giving out a free Chicago Cubs jersey. Don't want to miss that. All you got to do is make sure you hit that subscribe button. Be subscribed to the podcast. You want to better your chances of winning the jersey? Well, join Chicago Cubs Central Facebook page, guys. Listen, you get double the entries if you are a part of Chicago Cubs Central Facebook. So there's one thing you want to make sure that you do. You want to make sure that you are a part of Chicago Cubs Facebook group. Don't miss out on that. Like I said, you get fresh content over there. It's a group that's growing. There is more than 2 people there in the group. This is an old picture, but you want to make sure that you're a part of that group. So head on over to Chicago Cubs Central Facebook group and make sure that you join that group over there also, where we talk Chicago Cubs all day, every day. Breaking news, updates, everything like that drops over there first. And then, of course, you get to know more about me too. So listen, I appreciate each and every last one of you guys so much for tuning in. Now, with that being said, let's talk about the man, the myth, the legend, Chicago Cubs center fielder, Pete Crow-Armstrong. So listen, Pete Crow-Armstrong enters year 3 in the majors carrying a label most players never touch. MLB.com's number one center fielder in all of baseball, y'all. Listen, so he's not just the best young center field. He's just not a top 5 center fielder. No, he's number 1 on that list. And with that comes expectations, with that comes pressure, and one massive question Cubs fans are asking heading into 2026. Can PCA actually live up to the hype? Was 2025 the breakout or was that the peak? And is an NL MVP run realistic for the kid? So let's dig into it. First and foremost, PCA's 2025 season in a snapshot. So in 2025, Pete didn't just improve, he literally leveled up. Y'all, he played 154 games, full season. His batting average was 272. He had an OBP of 336. His slug was 461. He had great home runs. He had a 30 for 30 season for the Chicago Cubs. And listen, he was amazing. He was a Gold Glover. His stolen bases, his RBIs. He just was so good for the Chicago Cubs, and he just showed so much improvement from season to season. I mean, the drastic steps he took. He was an all-star in that season also. So Pete Crow-Armstrong showed you guys literally what he could do with his baseball skills. And like I said, I couldn't be more proud of what Pete Crow-Armstrong became and how he really became and is becoming the face of the Chicago Cubs team, y'all. So P. Crow-Armstrong, 91 runs scored, 146 hits, 31 home runs, 95 RBIs, and 35 stolen bases, a 30 for 30 season, a 247 batting average, a 287 OBP, and a 768 OPS for P. Crow-Armstrong. And listen, the kid did it all for the Chicago Cubs this season. And I like that even in the offseason, PCA is not away from Chicago. He's not somewhere where you can't see him. He has literally been in Chicago. He's been at Bears games. He's been at Bulls games. Him and Caleb Williams are becoming the face of Chicago sports. And I love it. I love every bit of it. PCA it does plan on being here for a while, and he plans on establishing himself as the face and the leader of the Chicago Cubs. And with that comes, again, a lot of pressure. So the production that PCA did in 2025, is this production sustainable? You have to look. Now, there's two ways to grade this. There, you have to look at PCA and ask yourself, is it sustainable with his skill set, and is it sustainable with his mindset? So, like I said, the plate discipline took a real step in 2025. His strikeout rate dropped noticeably from his first two seasons. He was more selective earlier in counts. He had better recognition of breaking balls away, and that matters because it shows what? It shows adjustment, not luck. The power came naturally for him. Again, like I said, most of his homers came gap to gap, not pull only. He had a hard hit rate, climbed without a big swing overhaul, and that suggests his power floor is now between 20 to 25 home runs annually, which, like I said, will do may wonders for the Chicago Cubs during the season. And then last but not least, his speed plus defense didn't take a hit. A lot of times when players go into off seasons focusing on offense, sometimes their defense will take a hit on that because they're not able to put in that same work defensively. However, PCA defensively, Gold Glove, I thought should have been the Platinum Glove winner, not Fernando Tatis Jr. But it is what it is. Think about how many runs that PCA robbed hitters of, how many RBIs, how many base hits that he robbed guys of just because he's a black hole out there in center field and he can literally just cover all the ground. He just takes away hits, you know. So like I said, even if his bat cools at times, he has an elite range in center. He's the best running value every night, and defense alone keeps his WAR high. So that's the kind of profile that ages very well. PCA for his speed, for what he's going to be able to do, is breaking. I truly believe we will see PCA break the record for stolen bases in a season. I don't know what season it'll happen. I hope it happens in a Chicago Cubs jersey, but I do believe we will see PCA break the record for stolen bases. Just his ability, how fast, how quick he is, how great that first step is, how he's able to get the jump on pitchers and on catchers, and he's able to play the cat and mouse with them, and they know he's going to do it, and they have no way to stop him from swiping those bags. I think that PCA is going to be the person to break Ronald Acuna Jr.'s record. And like I said, for all his work, Ronald Acuna broke that record on the Chicago Cubs. So I would like to see PCA break that record and be in a Cubs jersey. But we'll see what happens with that. Now, with that being said, the next question that comes up, y'all, is can PCA win NL MVP in 2026? Again, a lot of people are putting stock in PCA. Now, again, Shohei Ohtani will always be the favorite. On a team full of MVPs, though, it becomes less impressive. When you got Kyle Tucker on your team, you got Mookie Betts on your team, you got Freddie Freeman on your team, it becomes a little less impressive what Shohei Ohtani is doing. I'm not as impressed. I don't know that Shohei Ohtani should win another NL MVP, even though he probably will. Um, there is a specific chance, yes, but it requires a leap from PCA to be a legitimate MVP finalist. PCA will probably need to hit somewhere between 40 to 45 home runs, 35 to 40 stolen bases, an OBP closer to 360, and a WAR pushing 7.0. These things are going to be paramount for PCA to be even looked at in the same breath as Shohei Ohtani for MVP. Now, for 2 months last season, PCA was in that conversation for MVP, but then he began to slump, and he spent the middle of June, pretty much the middle of June into July, into the rest of the season, slumping, trying to figure his way out. I mean, he limped to 30 plus home runs, but again, with the way the Chicago Cubs are competing, and with him, how serious he takes his offseason prep and practice, and how he's going to handle spring training coming up in a couple of weeks, will tell us dividends on what PCA will become. But listen, he's competing for a huge spot here, not just another Gold Glove, which I'm sure he probably has on lock at least for the next 3 to 4 years. But then on top of that, he's also going to be competing for a Platinum Glove. And then on top of that, he's going to be competing for an NL MVP award. So what else needs to happen? Well, the Cubs need to be competing for the division. The good news is his defensive value gives him a head start over most MVP candidates. Few players combine elite center field defense with power, with speed, with durability. I mean, God, y'all, the only person that you can kind of compare this to is a young Mookie Betts in his prime type of territory. If the bat climbs to that 45 home run range. So, what should PCA's goals be for 2026? Become a true weapon offensively, not just, like I said, every player is going to slump. Every player is going to slump. Don't get me wrong on that. You have to limit the amount of slumps. You have to limit how hard hitting those slumps are. PCA wears his sleeve on, he wears his heart on his sleeve. And when he gets upset, it affects his whole game. And you literally saw him put so much pressure on himself last year to be great. And it was tough for him at times. It was very, very tough for him at times. But guys, trust me, greatness is in Pete Crow-Armstrong. There are not many baseball players out there in the world right now that can do what PCA can do with a bat and with a glove. Let's just be honest about it. So he could become, like I say, a threat, a middle of the order threat, an even bigger middle of the order threat. And then, of course, after that, push power just one more step. So again, moving from 30 home runs, 31 home runs to maybe 41 home runs, to maybe 45 home runs this season, add on another 10 home runs this season. It's very doable for him. So maintain the line drive approach. No need to sell out for pull power when it comes to PCA. And then cement himself as the best damn defensive center fielder in baseball. Another Gold Glove, defensive runs saved at the top of the league, and then turn defense into offense nightly. We saw him do it a couple times last year where he got a great defensive play to end the inning and then came back out in the next inning and hit a home run. It's happened, but we need to see a little bit more consistency in that. And then, of course, this is something I think that he already is. Be the emotional engine of the Chicago Cubs. So Dansby Swanson and now Alex Bregman are going to be your clubhouse leaders. That's fine. You got Ian Happ also. That's great. But you want an emotional leader? There's nobody that's more emotional. I just said it. He wears his heart on his sleeve. There's nobody more emotional than Pete Crow-Armstrong. And I'm excited because PCA is going to have a good season. So set the tone defensively, aggressive on the bases, and then lead by effort, not volume. Guys, this is sneaky important when you're looking at trying to be a championship caliber club. When you're looking at, you want to be mentioned with the Mets, with the Dodgers, with the Phillies, with the, like I said, with teams like that. These are the things you're going to need from your players. And the Chicago Cubs have all the tools to be right there along with the rest of those guys, including Pete Crow-Armstrong. So my closing thoughts on this: PCA isn't just facing pressure. He's earned the right to feel pressure. Pressure is a something that is earned. And like I said, PCA has earned the right to have pressure be put on him. Being named MLB's top center fielder means the league has taken notice. Now the challenge is simple but brutal. Can he turn expectation into dominance? If 2025 was the foundation, 2026 could be the season. PCA doesn't just meet the hype, he defines the hype. I'm excited to see what PCA is going to do, but I need to know from you guys, what are your thoughts? What do you think PCA will become? What do you think he'll become of this season? What are some goals or some hopes that you have for PCA for this coming season? Listen, I appreciate each and every last one of you guys so much for tuning in for another episode. Make sure that you hit that like button, that share button, and that subscribe button. And also, guys, like I said, you want to be a part, you want to have a chance to win a jersey. Hey, it could be a PCA jersey. We'll see. But listen, I appreciate you guys so much. Once we hit 3,000, guys, like I said, we're going to make the announcement. We're going to do a random drawing on one of the episodes. So we want to make sure that you guys stay locked in, tuned in for that. Be counting the subs with me, and make sure that you subscribe to Chicago Cubs Central, your number one spot for all things Chicago Cubs. I'm your host, Mike Jones. Until next time, go Cubs, go. Peace.
Thank you for watching another episode of Chicago Cubs Central, the number one spot for all Chicago Cubs content. Remember to like, share, subscribe for more Cubs content.